Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. U.S. President Donald Trump has cut short his second summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The reason, according to the president, was that Kim asked for too much. As viewers Bill Gallo reports from Hanoi, the big question is, where do the nuclear negotiations go from here?
Donald Trump portrays himself as a deal-maker, but in Hanoi with Kim Jong-un, he couldn't reach a deal.
I could have signed an agreement today, and then you people would have said, oh, what a terrible deal, what a terrible thing he did. No, you have to be prepared to walk.
Trump had been lowering expectations for days, saying there is no rush to reach a deal. Turns out he was right. Kim demanded all sanctions be relieved at once, according to Trump. The U.S. was unwilling to do that. Trump says the papers were ready to sign. A signing ceremony was even added to the White House schedule. But then the White House released a statement saying no deal. Not even a joint statement was released, and no framework for moving the talks forward. But some analysts are glad Trump walked away.
North Korea made an untenable ask. They said, we want to partially denuclearize in exchange for a full removal of sanctions.
There are no plans for a third summit, but Trump insists there was no ill will when he walked away.
I think it was very good, very friendly. This wasn't a walk away like you get up and walk out. No, this was very friendly. We shook hands.
Heading into the summit, U.S. officials had hoped to at least agree on what denuclearization means and how to start moving that process forward. 8 months after the first summit, it's not clear they're any closer to that goal.
Well, for more on the U.S.-North Korea summit in Vietnam, viewers Bill Gallo now joins me live from Hanoi. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening.
Now, as you just mentioned, the president went in with very low expectations, and as it turns out, the North Korean leader was not willing to yield. What did the White House expect to achieve going in?
Well, ahead of this summit, U.S. officials had been quite blunt that they had not even reached an agreement about what denuclearization means. It's not clear whether this summit made any progress on that front, but obviously things did not go well today. The summit was not only cut short, there was no joint statement, there was no end to the Korean War, which they were expected to announce. So this is a pretty negative outcome, I think, from most standpoints.
From what I understood, the last summit in Singapore did not even reach a point of defining clearly what denuclearization means. So, in few words, what was really the purpose of this meeting?
It's a really good question. Well, you can say that the relations have improved to some degree, although it might even be hard to move forward based on this summit. If there is a perception that this failed, there will be much more criticism of future meetings. Donald Trump, in fact, said there is no plans for a future summit. However, he said he would like to see lower-level talks continue. So if this could happen, if these lower-level talks happen, that could be a success.
So the lower-level talks are intended to achieve, for example, convincing North Korea to completely denuclearize, or at least to redefine what that means?
Well, I think you might have to start at what, the definition is. That's true. But then at least if they can move this process forward with lower level talks, that would be a start.
Well, now you're about to, you're done with covering this as a journalist. How do you, coming out of this, what do you feel really happened in Hanoi?
Well, the funny thing is, there were a lot of things expected to happen that didn't happen. So when you're a journalist, you kind of prepare for all these scenarios, and you've had a lot of things written. Well, it turned out a lot different than everyone thought, so we'll have to save those stories for later.
Good job, though, Bill. Thank you very much for joining us from Hanoi.
Thank you.
Well, that's viewers Bill Gallo reporting live from Hanoi.